It started like any other night. Nothing unusual. Nothing that should have stood out. But looking back now, I think something was wrong long before I ever got on that bus. Practice ran late that evening. Later than it ever had before. By the time I stepped outside, the school was completely empty. No cars, no voices, no lights except the ones above the entrance flickering faintly. Rain fell in a steady rhythm, soft but constant. The kind of rain that makes everything feel quieter than it should be. I checked my phone, 2%, of course. I sighed and pulled my hoodie tighter around me. That's when I saw it. At the far edge of the parking lot, there was a bus. Not the usual one, not the bright, clean city bus that ran every night. This one looked older, duller, like it had been sitting there for years. The headlights were on but dim, and the inside lights, they flickered just slightly, like they couldn't decide whether to stay on. The windows were fogged, completely fogged, as if the inside was warmer than the cold night air, or as if something had been breathing in there for a long time. I stopped walking, just for a second, because something didn't feel right. You know that feeling you get? When something is off, but you can't explain why? That. I should have listened to it, but I didn't. Because it was raining, because my phone was dying, because I just wanted to go home. The doors were already open. That should have been my first real warning. I stepped up slowly, each step echoing louder than it should have. The inside smelled strange, not bad, just old, like wet fabric and something I couldn't place. The driver sat at the front, completely still, hands on the wheel, staring straight ahead. He didn't acknowledge me, didn't even glance in my direction. "Does this go downtown?" I asked. Nothing. No reaction, no movement, just the quiet hum of the engine and the faint tapping of rain against the metal roof. I waited, but he never answered. I walked down the aisle, slowly. There were a few other people sitting inside, maybe 5 or 6, scattered, but something about them was wrong. They were too still. No one was on their phone. No one was talking. No one even shifted in their seat. They just sat there, facing forward, perfectly still. The doors closed behind me with a sharp hiss, and before I could even sit properly, the bus started moving. At first, it was normal, slow, steady, but then it started speeding up. Faster than it should, faster than any bus I'd ever been on. Rain streaked across the windows, blurring everything outside. I tried to look out, to recognize where we were, but I couldn't. It didn't look like the usual route. "Hey," I called out. "I think you missed a turn." No response. The driver didn't move, didn't react, didn't even blink. That's when I noticed something else. There were no lights outside, no street lights, no houses, no cars, nothing, just darkness, endless, empty darkness. I looked at the window, trying to see anything familiar, but instead, I saw my reflection, and behind me, every passenger had turned their head at the exact same time, all of them staring directly at me. I didn't hear them move, not a single sound, no shifting, no breathing, nothing, just silence, and their eyes locked onto me. I turned around slowly, heart pounding, and they were all facing forward again, like nothing happened. That's when I stood up. I couldn't sit there anymore. "I need to get off," I said. My voice sounded small, too quiet. The bus didn't slow down. The doors didn't open. Then the driver moved, but only his head, slowly. He turned it just enough for me to see his face. There were no eyes, just empty darkness, like something had been carved out, or never there at all. And then he spoke, softly, kept barely louder than the rain. "We don't stop." The lights flickered once, twice, then went out completely for just a second. When they came back on, every seat was empty, completely empty. No passengers, no movement, nothing except me, still sitting there. And the bus is still moving.